Good morning, Dr. and Mrs. Cranwell. Craig Duran here with Pelican Real Estate. Just giving you some information regarding your property out at 65 Seacrest Drive. Normally, this is an interactive presentation, either online or in person, and I'd like to talk a little bit about the questions that you might have about the process or any concerns that you might have. So at the end of the presentation, any specific questions you may have, please give me a call, shoot me an email, and I can get any questions answered that you may still have. Generally, my approach to marketing real estate is based on the idea of trying to create maximum exposure for real estate. If I'm going to sell this little iPhone I've got here and I can only do enough marketing to get one person to make me an offer, I'm going to be somewhat limited, even in a strong market, by what that one person will be willing to pay me. But if I can do enough to get multiple offers, multiple interests, high levels of interest, I'm going to find that one person that's really wants it, is going to have an emotional tie to it and really offer me, make me the best offer. And the same thing very generally applies to real estate. So you'll hear me talking about the idea of maximum exposure a lot. We want to get past looking, we're going to try to get past the investor types who are just looking for a great deal. We're going to get past the tire kickers and really to someone really serious about owning something that fits that criteria of what you've got. A little bit about me. Briefly, I've been selling real estate for 10 years full-time since 2003. One thing I'm most proud of for my career is my list price to sold price ratio is 96.33%. I'm not a big believer in pricing something and then having these big price swings and negotiations of one party making an offer and then meeting in the middle. I think if something's priced right with value, it adds a lot of simplicity almost to the process of negotiating, with people giving better, stronger, cleaner written offers for something where they find value. I was the top producer in my office for the last 4 or 5 years. Actually the top producer for the entire company, stretching from Panama City Beach to 38 to Destin in 2012. And most importantly for you all, I've got a plan to create this maximum exposure. We're not just trying to target one group or two small groups. We're really trying to cover our bases on everywhere where buyers come from. The most important thing for an agent or a marketing group to understand, first of all, is to find out where do buyers come from. This is a slide. This is pulled from statistics from the National Association of Realtors of where buyers come from generally. What's important to understand about this is that we need to make sure we're putting focused marketing efforts towards all of these slices of the pie, or we potentially could be missing someone that would be the one single person making you the highest and best offer. The first slice of the pie talks about individual agents. 26% of real estate transactions are closed by what an individual agent will do differently for their customer. One of the things that is most important for me is communication. I really think that once you get the process started and marketing up and running, weekly communication with a seller is critically important, especially with an absentee owner. I work with a lot of people that own real estate that live out of the area, so they don't know how often it's getting shown, what the market's like, those kind of things. So weekly on Mondays I like to send out an update, whether it's a brief video or email or a report with some general market statistics. We need to make sure we're aware of anything that may have come to the market or gone under contract or sold. And also it's a good time to communicate how showings are going and what kind of feedback we're getting. Something that's really critically important for me. Excuse me. One of the next most important things for me are photographs. I'm going to pick on a past listing agent for your property a little bit on yours. On all of my listings anymore, I hire a professional. I just can't take a good photograph with my phone or even a good camera and compete with someone who's a professional who has the kind of equipment and experience that can take great photographs. I'll just go through yours a little bit here. Lighting and composition are really important for me anymore. Having a wide angle lens to really make rooms look and feel large are really important. Fantastic photographs are anymore absolutely critical in a day and age where 89% of the consumers are out on the internet looking at real estate. If you look at this one just a little bit, you can see that the lighting's not really balanced. All the light coming through the windows is sort of blown out a little bit. You can tell it's not quite a wide angle lens. If you look at this porch photograph, you can kind of see that the lighting isn't really balanced very well. It's not a very crisp, clear photograph. When we're selling anything that's close to the ocean, any kind of views that we can get, it's really important to have some really nice clear views of not only representing what the actual experience is like from the property. We don't want to mislead anybody into thinking that this is Gulf front, but at the same time we can do some things with zoom and lighting and balance that we're not just focused on a utility pole, rather we're focused on a feeling and that kind of thing that we're getting from the property that you're trying to sell. Again, you know, not having a wide angle lens here and blown out lighting just doesn't help the cause. It amazes me how many agents don't understand that anytime you take a photograph in vertical, it does not show up well on any of the real estate websites out there. You always have to make sure things are over in landscape. It's a little bit different what a professional photographer can do. Can really make room sizes look a whole lot bigger. Lighting becomes that much more crisp. This isn't even a fantastic bedroom to really be, it's not a great subject photograph, but you can really see the difference as people click through the internet. If we do have any relationships to water or even just generally outside, we should be able to see through the window. The room sizes should start to appear very large, all of those kinds of things. So something really critically important for me is people are clicking around the internet that you get things that are well lit, well balanced, all those kinds of things. Just as important are having some photographs, even going up to the beach and taking some shots of the beach. It's really as much of what we're selling as the sticks and the bricks. So to make sure that those kind of photographs are included into the marketing, I think is absolutely critical. Because this 26%, this slice of the pie is a pretty big deal, this agent effort idea, what I see that where I've made a little bit of a difference for people in the past, I'm actually consistently selling for 2% more money in the marketplace and about 31 to 35 days sooner. I think all the little extras that we do really are turning into results of people actually selling for just a little bit more money and getting the process done quickly. Selling in and of itself is an inconvenient process, so making sure we get in and out of it and move through it smoothly is just as important. In a day and age where we're inundated with junk email, regular mail, I think, has come back in value. 10 years ago, you would walk out to your mailbox and it was just a painful experience of having to weed through all the junk that we had in there. Nowadays, we're so inundated with spam in our email inbox that going to the mail, I think, has made a little bit of a comeback, and it's exciting to get physical mail again. So sending out different kinds of postcards and letters to prospective buyers and neighbors, I think has as much of an impact as it had in a long time. The next slice of the pie that we have to understand and be targeting is the internet. Obviously, a big part of what we do. This statistic here is probably a little outdated. The last thing I've heard is anywhere from 89 to even 90-91% of buyers somehow are involved in the internet when looking for real estate. Of course, not a surprising fact. The idea being here then that where 10 years ago I might have told you that you were just on the internet, that might have been a really exciting thing. Now we know everybody's on the internet, so what can we do to really manipulate the internet and make sure that your house is this little blue house here that really stands out as people are searching? This is a pretty good overview of our approach to the internet. The standard way of marketing property is creating maybe a website or a virtual tour and then not really doing much with it and just hoping that it gets found, almost like sticking a sign in the ground in the old days and hoping someone drives by. A better way to do it, and what we try to do, is with virtual tours, videos, websites, all these links. We're actually building a lead generation platform around the property so that we have multiple links and landing pages that actually drive interest back to me, since I'll be the one that's best able to talk about and represent your particular property. The idea, if you look at this little bucket, you can see we're going to put a lot of things into the bucket, use a lot of different things, but make sure everything's pointed directly to me and not to somebody else in some other real estate company. A little bit of an overview of what it is that we do. We use virtual tours. We create an actual website for your property. Craigslist, to me, it's still amazing how many people are working and dealing with real estate on Craigslist, but it's an important part of the internet search for some people. We use e-flyers with lots of live links that generate interest back to us. We're involved in all major real estate websites. We're going to send that to you here. I'll go through that here shortly. I'm a big believer in blogs and trying to create interest in followers. We use QR codes. We'll go through that here shortly. We're very interested in mobile, the power of the iPad, the iPhone, things like that. Social media too is critically important. Again, the problem that most people have on the internet is that individual property listings generally generate very few actual buyer leads. People get clicked on a lot, but actually translating that into something tangible is very rare. Ours is quite a bit higher by introducing specific call to action buttons and links and all these things. We're going to show you that just a little bit. The benefit to you then is just that we're getting that much more out of the internet as one of the areas that we're interested in. Understanding how the internet works and the MLS system and all these other websites work, so much data is stolen from one website and put on another website and put on another website. The ones that we hit actually propagate down into over 500 real estate websites where you actually appear. We focus on some of the larger ones to make sure we can control those like we want, and we have you positioned and marketed like we want, so that as all these other sites start to steal that information, it's stealing what it is that we like. So a little bit about the approach. We use virtual tours. This is just a sample. This isn't actually ours. I would use some better photographs. But the thing to notice here is if you look on the right hand side, where most agents put together a virtual tour, and it's nice because it has some moving photos and maybe some music, there really isn't anything for the consumer to do to take the next step and ask any more questions or do anything to get more information about the real estate. What we do is on the right hand side of our virtual tour create all these custom links. Yours may be something like South Walton Homes, 38 homes, beach cottages for sale. We'll create all these individual links on the right hand side, make sure we have all the social media buttons available, and every single one of those links and follow this home and all these things that you see on the right hand side all link back to landing pages that all link back to me. Rather than just spreading around just photos generally, we need to make sure we're driving interest back to me so that I can make sure and properly qualify and consult with a buyer. The single property website is very popular and powerful anymore. It's an actual website specifically for your real estate. Again, I'm not a big fan of these the photos here, but it was a good test listing, so to speak, that I can show you. To go through this pretty quickly, if you look at the top, beginning at the top where it says test listing, that of course would be your address and physical information. To the right is a QR code. If someone happens to be pretty tech savvy, they can scan that with a mobile device, and the next thing you know is this individual website is walking around with them in their pocket or their briefcase. If you look down just below in the gray bar, this is all the information that's included in the website that we build for you. Not only the description about the property, someone can click on the photos button and view the photos as a slideshow. There's a map to specifically locate the property. If someone were interested in the school district, that's there for them. We also have a virtual tour and even a print brochure that a consumer can take the website, click on something if they feel like they need to print it out and hand it to somebody. Again, real important over on the left hand side this time are all of these links and landing pages that bring people to other areas and bring them to me. And if you can imagine someone searching for real estate on websites like Zillow or Trulia, Realtor.com, which are some of the more popular websites where people search, if they can run into our virtual tour or our website on those websites, the next thing you know is we can sort of grab